Now let's talk about thinking and reasoning. And talk about several ways that our brain kind of processes information and perceives information to come up with an outcome, to make a decision somehow, right? Hopefully every day in every way we're thinking and reasoning, using our brain power to solve questions. And how does our brain actually go about doing that? Oh, there's three kind of ways. The first one is called what we call trial and error. Basically, to find a solution, we just do it different ways, and sometimes it is correct, sometimes it's incorrect. And so when we come about it, when we solve a solution in this way, it's kind of very time-consuming, it's very energy-consuming, and so it might take a long time to solve because many of the times we'll come up with the wrong answer. Another idea is algorithms. Our brain also uses algorithms, in that these are kind of step-by-step procedures in how to solve a question. That we have kind of a systematic pattern of things to solve something. I'll give you a quick example. When we have to solve the classic Rubik's Cube, we've all seen this, right? The thing that you twist, there's different colors on each side. You have to match the thing. You could just use trial and error, which is you just keep twisting it until you find something that's right. Or you could use an algorithm. That is, if you go on the internet, you'll find a step-by-step system on how to solve a Rubik's Cube. First, you have to make sure there's a cross, and then on the same side there's the same color. So step by step, that's an algorithm. That's like how a computer can solve a question, is they take standard steps to organize the results. Finally, there's what we call the heuristic. The heuristic is different from an algorithm in that the heuristic is a mental shortcut. That is to say, this is kind of a quick, easy, down and dirty way, a rule of thumb that our brain has developed that could solve a question really quickly. So it uses the least brain power. It's more like a stereotype, intuition you could think of heuristic. So for example, when you're deciding what kind of deodorant to buy, a quick heuristic would be say, oh, that famous celebrity endorses this deodorant, so it must be pretty good, right? So we have a shortcut there, which is the idea that when celebrities tell us something is good, it's great. That doesn't involve a lot of thinking, so that's kind of a quick rule of thumb that we follow in order to solve a problem. I'll give you a quick example of how we could use these different things to solve a simple kind of question, which is word scramble. Here I have kind of a word that I scrambled, and you have to kind of figure out what word it is, right? So if you use the trial and error process, you'll probably just, first of all, pick S, and then rearrange these letters until the right word comes up, and then you move on to P, so on and so forth. Just randomly putting words together until the correct word comes up. If you use an algorithm, then you're going to be more systematic about it, and so you're going to figure out, well, I know rules, for example, that S and, there's no word that starts with S and then G. There's no rule, the words, for example, there's no G, GC words. So you could put those words kind of far away. It's likely that, for example, S could come at the end of a word to make it a plural. SL works, SP works, for example, and that's from that you kind of create the kind of a more systematic way to solve what this word is. If you use a heuristic, then it's kind of saying from looking at this, what's a gut feeling of the word that comes out? You might know that, oh, you know what, the word Curtis gives us, Curtis does psychology, so he probably has a psychology-related word, and then lo and behold, the actual word is psychology, right? So when you use a heuristic, you use kind of other information to help you solve this word scramble. Okay. So when it comes to solving a kind of a question, a logic question or puzzle, which way would you think is the best way? You think maybe an algorithm or something that's more thoughtful and systematic. However, most of the time we don't use this kind of algorithm to solve our daily problems because it's so time-consuming and energy-consuming. We don't really have the time and energy to do that. And so we often use kind of heuristics. Again, the shortcuts sometimes have pitfalls and make us come to the